Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the LGPA Tour of Korea. This is the first event of 4 here at the High1 Resort Ladies Open. The field this week, the 11th playing of this tournament, including the two-time defending champion, Jung. As we look across the mountains, across the resort, we can see that it is mostly overcast skies today, 24 degrees Celsius, 70% humidity, and while it was a bit windier earlier, it is mostly negligible at the moment at just 1 meter per second. We will head out onto the course to the par 4 ninth. This is Ji Hyun. She's 3 under for her round thus far. The approach shot a sliver over 120 meters out. She lands in almost the perfect center of the green. We'll have a putt back towards the left edge for birdie. Currently finds herself in a tie for 11th position, 3 back of the lead. This is the par 5 11th. A substantial putt back across the green, starting to move its way over and has enough break on it to fall for a birdie. That is back-to-back now, 4 on the round through 11 holes for Jung. 4 players currently tied at that score for 7th position as we find our next shot from the fringe. It's just a little flop back up. Exchange of the wedge for the putter and the slight tap and finish. Jung, she is at 2 under. On to 1, the 10th hole of the day, and 16.1 meters on this birdie putt. It's going to pick up a ton of speed back down the hill. Manages the weight of that putt fairly well. Is in close with eyes on a par next. To 12 with Matasson. This is another downhill birdie putt that will pick up all kinds of pace. Started it a little bit more to the left than that putt required. Currently the joint second best rookie on this tour, with Unina. 1,412 points with both of those players trailing EA1. Really, any result this week will take Matasson into sole possession of that mark. We know the troubles currently facing Unina here on tour. From our vantage point, should be a slight right to left break, and Matasson didn't account for it whatsoever. She plays that straight. And after a birdie look, she ends up falling a stroke as she exits the 12th hole, her first bogey of the day. This is Jae Reem on 11. It's 215 meters as she plays her second on the par 5. Skirts the front edge, that is, of the green as she tries to reach in 2. Nestles into the rough, and will still have a fairly optimistic chance to get it inside of birdie range, and that is exactly where we find Kim Min-ju as she attempts to get to 2 under. But her miss is to the outside of the cup, and it will stay away. one player of this group on number 10 was able to comfortably navigate the drive into the center of the fairway. Pungmin Ji slightly off to the left side. She is at 2 under at the turn. Well, works that in nearly pin high. It is a sensational approach for the season-long money leader. It's been surpassed and is currently trying to chase back down Ji Hyun for second in the points. Quite the group this, at least on paper. The struggles, though, through the opening 9 holes for the 2-time defending champion, Jung, going with a 58-degree wedge. And even that ends up being a bit too much club. Down in a tie for 110th, Kim Chae-hee withdrew. Jo Yoon Jung, the highest score at 12 over. That is nearly in the automatic cut territory. Jung with a birdie on the first 3 holes and another on number 5. And close but no cigar as that catches a piece of the edge of the cup but carries a bit too much speed and stays out, so she'll settle for a tap-in par. 5 consecutive even scores to end the front 9. Ji on the left side of the fairway, Ji Hyun on the right, playing into the wind. Won't just have enough on it to climb that step. Over to 11 from the rough Chae Ream. That is going to straighten out. Definitely will be able to have justifiable ideas of birdie next. Clever little play with the wedge. Chun Ye-sung, her tee shot finds the thick rough. 135 meters to go, and with the lie, she's going to go for 6. Try to power that up onto the green. She's able to get it there, but doesn't straighten out much from her initial miss to the left. It's a little bump and run up from Jung. She had shot a 69 in the opening round here at High1 last year. That was only pipped by Lee Young and Hoda Bean, who had each shot 67. Not once all tournament last year had she been over par to finish around. She is 4th on the money list, 475 million won earned so far this season. 17th in the points on 187. Ji Hyun is 2nd on both the money and points lists. This will be an uphill putt with the wind at her back. At least from our perch here behind the green. Doesn't look like all that drastic of a break. Definitely will be right to left for us, otherwise that ball marker would have been moved a club's length away. It's 5.6 meters. was spot on. It was a little bit of extra breathing room to her inside of the cup. She'll settle for a tap in par, still at even through 10. Rejoin that group in a moment, but first to 11 as Ji Hyun tries to move to 4 under. A puzzling one, no doubt about it. Opportunity gone by. Troubles continuing at number 10, even for Bungmin Ji. Rocketing up and will stay in the valley, the middle stage of the green. That's a big time save. Still about 4 meters that she needed to make up. Takes a bit of a divot and spins back to a halt. About 1.5 meters, 2 meters between she and the completion of the hole. Ji going with a 52 degree. Her approach shot. But will find the back. Will hit the fringe and begins slightly back towards the cup, but no doubt the middle 2 approach shots of the group was by far the best. Well, number 11 is a 504-meter par 5. Defended by trees on either side of the block. How narrow it is down. It certainly opens up into the fairway with the targets in line with the pin, about 251 meters off the tee, and from there, those ambitious 185 to get to the green into, but you definitely have to play brave with plenty of water tempting fate. Interesting to see how some players love these tune-ups for majors, others prefer to take that extra week off. Jung, not quite the easygoing, carefree body language that we've grown accustomed to seeing from her. Almost camouflaged by the tree branches. Jung, the last to play. And after that bogey at number 5, she has been playing par golf ever since. This is a lovely drive. Nicely into the fairway, and for someone who's had their confidence rattled a few times in this round, we'll see if she does elect to go bold and try and play the wedge over the water. Putter playing a little bit cold at the moment. And about 99% perfect on the putt. Unfortunately, that doesn't reflect on the scorecard. Par for Chun Ye-sung to stay at 4 under. Ji, pretty good up. Now inside of 100 meters for Ji Hyun. She too will lose all of the speed on the upslope. Of difficulty on that downhill putt can't be overstated. There's a few incredibly challenging greens here at High 1, and the pin placements today are really making the players work for it. And a nice finish to the hole. So-yeon Jung able to salvage her par. Sohm again, able to come away with her bird. One under through 13 for the rookie. Plays it safe and goes to the right side of the green. Gives herself an opportunity to approach for a bird. This is Jae Reem at 12. Ji that just dives to the inside. Kim Min-ju on 13. She will head to the 14. Still one better than even par. Well, this is the big club in Jung's hand, probably thinking at this point, not much to lose relative to her score, but also a nice drive allows her this opportunity. She is over safely, and for the second time, at least during our coverage, we are seeing the landing on the green and the roll off to the rough. Ji also going with the safety first mindset. Well, this looks like it's got a chance. That's a great putt. Nicely done from Kim Ji Hyun, starting the back nine as she had started the front with the birdie. Pitching wedge for Chun Yi-sung. She can't elude the rough that separates the fairway and the green. There's no doubt that was a tough stance, tough lie that she had been in. Now 110 for Park Ji-young at 11. First of two approach shots from this stretch of fairway. Gets a very fortuitous kick onto the line. Works out pretty well off the tee at 14. Now Bung Min-ji, it's only 83 meters left. Exquisite approach. It's about 4, maybe 4.5 to go. So plenty of action buzzing about the course right now. This, though, the leaderboard from some of the earliest entrants. It is EG Pum's tournament. After 18 holes of play, she shoots a 6 under 66. Yuhei Ran, a nice opening round of 67. Yoreen, amongst others, who are currently tied for the runner-up position. We'll take our first break of the day and be back in just a few minutes as our opening round coverage of the High1 Resort Ladies Open continues just after this. Welcome back. This is Jung at 11 in the pretty thick rough off of the green. High lofted club selected as she tries to get this up. Carries just beyond the fringe, and that is nicely executed. Chun Ye-sung from the patch of rough just before the green. She can still be disappointed with the approach shot, but that is a decent effort to keep her within close range of par. A bend of the knees as she reluctantly watches that putt just miss to her left of the cup. Tap in par for another consecutive birdie. 7 now since her 7th consecutive par, excuse me, since her last bird. And now Meta Son. Not quite enough on it. Ji to get to 3 under, nope. Offline and overhit. It's a bad combination. Well, that is how you tiptoe the balance beam expertly. Hyun needed that. She had 2 bogeys on 9 and 11 to drop her back to even. Finally, back under par. Oh, what a putt. That is one she has been chasing. Her first birdie of the day. You can see the wave of relief wash over her face. Ju, that was definitely a tester from a pretty tricky slope and a decent effort offline. Made it look relatively easy. So we'll head over to 3 now. It's 100 meters to go exactly. And very, very front right the pin placement today. To be precise here. Safety first, get on the green, but as close as she can stay to the front edge, the better. That is pretty good. Ji, another effort to get to 3 under, stay straight. Putting downhill and into the wind on 13 to stay at 4 under. Good putt under the pressure. Jung after her birdie, teeing off and fading that off the tee into the fairway very nicely.
바람만 생각하면 돼.
Ji's turn. 78% fairways in regulation thus far. That looks like it'll be another tick in the column. Averaging 226 meters per drive. And a perfect 3 for 3 on the par 4. A very positive start for each member of this group. Now, after a well-worked approach, this is So-Yeon Jung to move within 2 of the lead. Needs it to cut back. Started to, just ran out of pace in the last moment. Jae Reem, 91 meters from the fairway up onto the green. Finds the middle of it, slowly cascades away. She'll have 2 putts for par after that. And So-Yeon Jung with plenty of time still to chase down Lee Gi-pum atop the leaderboard. Ask for a whole lot more than that. That's an absolutely wonderful tee shot on 14. She's going to be helped by the downslope as it brings her ever closer to a birdie, slightly overhit admittedly. Keeps on rolling closer and closer. That's about 4.5 meters to the pin. She's definitely out pin seeking these past few holes. Now putting in Ji. Also heading right at it. That is the perfect club she could have selected. A heartbreaking one. Just bends away from where it came. round for Park Ji-young that has occasionally missed some of those moments. That is one to build some momentum off of. Line was close to perfect. The speed, however, had one extra ring on the dial turned. Means no birdie for her there. And Sunjuo, Ji Hyun, Ko Chi-yu also in that tie for second position at 5 under. There's some players who have absolutely struggled with this course thus far. Chun Ye-sung is one of the few exceptions at the moment of those who teed off on the first hole later in the day that are finding some success. Otherwise, it has come from the early rounds and those who teed off on the 10th. This is Mette Solm's approach on 15. Lands just beyond the fringe and rolls to a halt. That is a very long hit. Second shot to keep her as close as she was, and her partner is going to have even less to do. In the meantime, over to 12, Pak Ji-young. Will be another bird. 6 holes to play. Under par, excuse me, she's looking for that birdie to get her 2 under par. This is one of the trickiest lies I think Kim Min-ju will face all day today. 42 meters is all the remaining distance, and look at that travel through the rough and back out into a near perfect position. It's 182 meters. On shot number 2, that leaves likely a 9. Maybe pitching wedge depending on how she's feeling about the pin placement. The flag today here, 13 yards from the back, 11 yards from the left side, as this green narrows pretty much in the middle of that back cut. It's a great up. Ji Hyun only missed 1 green in regulation today through 11 holes. Moves back towards the fringe, but she is up and on. Look at the scenic 303-meter par 4 13th. Tee tee shot, 13 meters uphill over the landscaping features. 220 meters from the tee is the first bunker to the right, 225 the one from the left. And then it is another uphill approach shot, 75 meters. And 24 times today we have found birdie on this hole. The pin placement, slightly back left in that shade of orange, but it is definitely a topographically challenging hole, being a little bit deeper on the approach shot isn't the end of the world with the slope that should take you back online, but definitely want to be towards the left side of the green. Remarkably, up in the mountains here, this tee block is 1,053 meters above sea level. Considering some of the holes we've played on Jeju, this is a completely different environment. Putt from the front of this green for Jung Ji. Bows her head in disbelief as she watched that one perilously continue to roll beyond the target. Five pars on the bounce. Now Matasome. That one will feel good. That is her first birdie since the third hole, where she had started with two in the opening trio. Back up and down into the cup. 8 consecutive pars for her as well. Bogey at 6 after a scorching hot start. Over 100 meters on this approach shot. See, it lands within 3 meters of the cup, and as we were just discussing minutes ago, being a bit long will help slightly, so long as you can keep yourself on the green, as she was able to do, Pak Ji Hyun. That's sliced away from her. Strange one that for Kim Min-ju, who should have been on for her first birdie in a moment where it feels like oh so many are starting to pick them up. Well, a different route on the approach for Peng Minji as she plays it slightly short. Understanding the impact that the tailwind would have there, she comes up in a pretty good position. Well, it looks when it made its move towards our left of the cup, relatively speaking, that it was lining up for a birdie, but it just kept on snapping away. Now 0 for 2 on this green, rearing its ugly head. She's bogeying again, as she had done on 18. One of the lone birdies of anyone in the field came just her second hole. Would have been number 10. Number 11, that is. That is how the arithmetic works for those starting on the back nine, or what is typically the back nine. This is a very gargantuan putt. Formidable effort. Ji Hyun, another look at birdie. One of these has to fall for. Don't think it's going to be this one, though. Was always going to be single digits on the probability of making that. Did the job by getting it close. Settling for another par, Kim Min-ju with just 2 more holes in her round. It wasn't the result she would have been hoping for after that approach, but she does record her par. 4.1 meters, that means 73% of the time it is a birdie. At least if the historical averages are to be believed. Another increase in those metrics as Chun Sung finally gets to 5 under. .107 for this approach. The ball slightly below her feet. Has a tendency to overcorrect to the left. It's mostly right at it, but a little bit more carry on it than it needed. That one isn't going to roll out of the rough. First few seconds of that putt, it definitely felt like birdie was on the cards. A lot of players right now across the course struggling to do anything more than par. The course is definitely picking up its difficulty level. At the end of our first hour of coverage, Chun Sung now with that birdie, though. She moves into the hunt, into a tie for second position along with 5 other players, and she has 3 more holes to match or surpass ENG atop the leaderboard. This is the High1 Resort Ladies Open from the High1 Resort. We'll be back out to the course to continue our coverage in just a few moments. Well, Bungmin Ji, she is one of the 3 leaders of the primary stat categories that we track throughout the season. Yue Ran, she has a 63-point lead over Pak Jihan. It is 99,226,001 that Bungmin Ji has over Pak Jihan, and EA1 with a comfortable lead at the top of the rookie standings. It is 277 points from her 1,689 over Matasol and Unina. Top 2 in the aforementioned money list are away. The closing stages of their opening round. And that little chip down, even through the rough, wasn't enough to take off the pace, as that will still leave a complicated par putt back up the hill she just rolled down. On to 16, Chen Ye-sung, 87% the fairways in regulation, going with the hybrid off the tee at this par 3. Hoping for back-to-back great approach shots. This is Che Ream on 15, just over 50 meters still to go. Significant amount of backspin, as you would expect, and she only rolls about 8 inches from where she landed. Technically on and on the back portion of the green, but still some work to be done. Swinging her club in frustration, as there was not enough on that putt. So Chen Ye-sung settling for par. Jung, another improbable but not impossible birdie putt awaiting her. Just can't seem to buy a break today. J Ream 6.2. She's hoping she's on line. No, it just stopped short. Another long distance putt. This one makes contact with the cup but won't fall for Peng Min-ji. All across the course, everyone is being denied their low scores, with very, very few exceptions. Jung can officially have her deficit. Another birdie. Second in 4 holes after 3 birdies in 5 to open the round. And Matas home. In terms of the speed of the putt, it was pretty close to perfect. Ji Hyun, she is on damage control. This is for bogey. It should only be the 1 drop shot. First bogey of the day. She has 5 to go to try and make it up. Peng Min-ji walks in that par. Diamond to the inside of the cup and staying out. Four holes to go in her round, playing her back 9 on the mountain course. There's just a par there. Another very high elevation on this tee block, 1,066 meters above sea level. Despite her early round struggles, she is the most informed player of this group. Now Peng Min-ji, her uphill tee shot. Yeah. tee shot nicely into the fairway. Further down this hole, where we find Ji Hyun, 136 meters. And she lofts this up, and she will be hoping close. Goes to the back left, and we'll have to putt to climb the rise.
그걸 치면 돼. 충분하다.
Mostly online, and it's a pretty good approach that will see her play downhill on the next putt. Now Jung. Two of her next 3 holes will be par 3s. That approach from the from the sand was over the fairway, but not enough to get onto the green. As we turn our attention back to Jung. Dresses this ball as if she was aiming for that light stand in the middle. She works back across and into the fairway, well, at least momentarily. Maybe she hadn't even given herself enough of an angle towards the right as she's into the second cut. To 15, Jung Ji. This is where the putt will slow down significantly. And from there, a slight drop back towards the cup. That's a good first putt. Lots better. That's the shot that Amy Jung would have been hoping for. Pungmin Ji is able to execute it. She's a player that thrives in the big stages, the big moments. She definitely wants to turn a good result into some momentum for next week's major, the Hanwha Classic. Now everyone through their second shots. This is the 5th shot for Jung Ji, hoping it will be the last. Rarely do players give themselves enough room to the outside. It is another example of that. It's almost like they overestimate how straight the putt is. She's struggled on these par fives today. Her only bogeys of the day have come in these environments. Ji Hyun stands up as she watches that stay straight. Still stuck at that 3-under score. And Jae Reem to get to 4-under. And is offline to the left. She was narrowly pipped for the victory last week. It was almost a wire-to-wire victory for Jae Reem. Having led the first 3 rounds of the event. Finished 1 back of Jihan Seoul. Give me the I'm thinking of the Jeju Sundesu Masters, which was 2 weeks ago. Winning at EN last week. It's an excellent flop. Nearly holes out from an almost impossible lie. I think in her wildest dream she imagined she was going to convert on that. It is teetering over the cup. She's going to need to just nudge it. She's going to finish with the wedge. That's how close she is. Jung Sung is playing some fantastic golf. That would have been one of the cherries on the round. Deft touch from Peng Min-ji. Down 1 spot in the World Rolex rankings, but still inside the top 20. Is the final par 5 of the round. Shorter than just about any par 5 we're used to on tour here. Well inside of 500 meters. She too puts herself in a decent location. It's been the case for most of the season. 81% all season long. #1 on tour in the GIR category. So Jung is able to record a par with 3 to go. Moves her within 2 of the leader. Sailing that ball over the water and over the green. And last to try and keep it close. Excuse me, that was the replay of the approach shot. We had just seen that. So that leaves her with a short birdie putt that we will be seeing in just a few minutes' time as we look over the castle reminiscent clubhouse at the base of this course. Jung Sung with 1 hole to go, a birdie, and she will be level with ENG at 6 under as the pace setters in this opening round of the High1 Resort Ladies Open. It is event number 19 on this season. Well, with many players in the top three with at least a dozen and a half events this season, no movement atop the LFASI's point standings. Peng Ji with a extended absence away from the tours. Only played 12 events this season, dropping strokes by just not being active, but she is, in the hunt for that race as she is in just about everything else. Set to 15. It is 5.7 meters for Pak Ji-young in her seemingly never-ending search to get to under par. She'll have to wait another hole as that one hangs up short. What a fortuitous kick that is. It is a brilliant effort on 16 off the tee. Jung. Ji for birdie. Good pace, good line, great result. Only 3 on the day, her first since the 7th. She's been playing some incredibly steady golf, and she's finally rewarded for her persistence. Ji Hyun coming very close to a birdie at the last. She has another good approach to give her another shot at going low. Now Kim Min-ju on 18, one last chance to reach 2 under. She comes short. It's an opening round of 71. Birdies at 1 and 3. A bogey on her way in. And now an attempt to get to 2 under. Around the cup a full revolution, but it does drop. This is 7. The tee shot, 202 meters from the blocks, 137 to go. Shortchanged it with nothing but green to look at. And pushes that above. That is a bizarre miss, to say the least. And she finishes the day also at 1 under. Dropped at the end and 5 back after day 1. Now Hyun completes the trifecta of 71s in this group. 4 birdies on the day, 3 bogeys. Ji Hyun. Jung on the par 3. Just didn't have enough bite in it. At this rate, it seems like her birdie's going to come from an improbable position with the unfortunate lack of success she's had from the typically guaranteed birdies. Fairway wood on 18. Her last opportunity to make some more of a splash. This is where we currently find her on the leaderboard at 5 under, 1 back. I see Yipum, who really did the business early in the day. She had teed off in the 11th group at 8 a.m. local time. Fast forward 8 hours and 42 minutes, and she is the one currently occupying sole possession of first. Will that lead remain intact, though, when the dust has settled on this opening round? Well, she arrived at the green with a long shot on the horizon. Gives herself a crack, albeit an outside shot for another bird. Speaking of birdie, this is pulled to the inside. Ji Hyun, 17 holes down. She's on pace for a round of 69 unless she can come up with birdie at the last. Plodding away almost through the mountain course. Have a putt for par next as we head back to 16 with Jung. Take some big time putts down the stretch here, but she theoretically has a chance to get back to even. That would have gone a long way. She might have nearly stepped through somebody's line in the group. She apologizes and marks off her ball. Pak Bo-mi, she does these runs, back nines, front nines, where she'll just play some absolutely lights out golf. She's on another one right now. It is another bird to add to her daily tally of 4 on this back nine. Jung will need to hole out to finish the day with a share of the lead. That is her third shot, which would have been her birdie. A tricky putt for par to avoid dropping out of that tie for second. And now Pak Min-ji trying to save a par of her own. Hasn't bogeyed yet today. Trying to continue that run. But she pushes that. All good runs unfortunately come to an end. And for this instance, it's a bogey at 16. Two holes to play and still 2 back after that par. Well, needed that to get left in a hurry, and it does not. So a unfortunately struck tee shot will cost her a stroke here on 18. To 17, 109 for Jung Ji on this approach. Over the bunkers and into a pretty good location, about 9 paces beyond the pin. despite a bogey to end the day, it is still a good round to 68, as she is 2 under on the front and back nines. Finish the day inside of the top 15 as we go to 16 with Ji Hyun.
shot.
Trying to bounce back from her bogey. Able to find the fairway off the tee. Over to 8, So Jung partially camouflaged by the rough. There she goes with a very nice bounce. It's about a 5-meter birdie putt.
Hit, 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 hit. Ah!
What a putt that is. That caddy's excitement says it all for Moon Jung Min. Third birdie of the day, now back under par after her double. Saw her drop a fair deal from the pace. Means they get back left. Both player and caddy alike had their heads tilted to the left. J-Ring over the water and hoping to be on the green. But instead finds the rough. So it will be a par on 17. She'll have one last opportunity to go low at the 18th. It's been playing tricky today. Really been needing to work for your birds. This is Bakbo Mi 192, also from over the water. She is on, but she will stay on as well, but from a pretty significant distance away. Navigating that break well. Birdie at 16. That is her 5th of the day. She's at 4 under with 2 to play. As we take a look at the 17th from in behind. So you can see the pin placement today just off of the front and a substantial rise, 6 meters from the fairway to the stick. And the right side of this fairway, definitely the place to be. Gives you the straightest look over the trap and onto the putting surface. This is Park Ji-young. Bit of a chunky divot she takes, but it doesn't affect the end result whatsoever. Everybody's up and in a good position.
달콤한 거 보여. 나이스. 셋이다. 나이스.
And Pang Min-ji also joins her group mates up on the putting surface. With Chun Ye-sung and her round in the books, finds herself in a tie for 7th position. A couple of players still out there in the later stages of this opening round with a chance to also move into this front page of the leaderboard, but as the minutes tick away, it is seeming like Lee Gi-pum's score will be untouched on this opening round Thursday. Trying to finesse this line and so narrowly avoiding the birdie as it hovers over the right edge of the cup and requires one more putt. Pitch down onto the green and ricocheting off of the flag stick to avoid an improbable but highlight rail finish. This is Bungmin Ji for birdie. Trying to recapture the stroke she lost at the last, but did not want to find that final inside move back to the left. So she will head to 18, still 2 under. Back on the tee from the 17th. This is Ji Hyun.
샷.
뽕 떨어지는 소리도 받아야 된단 말이에요. 바람 때문에 비닐이 소리 나잖아요.
That's nicely executed into the fairway. It is inside of 4 meters. Jung, this has a 31% likelihood of dropping. That close. Sometimes all you can do is smile when the golf gods are not on your side. On to 18, Pak Bomi for birdie. This is a very long right to left, but it's overhit. Never gave it a chance to come back. And the last hope for birdie in the group belongs to Pak Ji-young. And it's the same miss. Varying degrees of distance beyond the target, but everybody to that outside edge. On to 9, Chanu Ri. Look at this move back to the right, but it moves back online. Was a triple bogey at the 7th. When she was very much in the mixer for so much of the round until then. The water costing her some positions on the leaderboard. Now Pak Bomi trying to salvage a par on her final hole of the day, but she goes inside. Well, the chase will require at least one more hole. Able to secure a par for 9 consecutive on the way, and it's a 36 after her front 9 of a 33 to end the day in a tie for 13th position. This is now the approach for Ji Hyun. It's 117. Started to drift over to the left. If she was a bit more online, she would be in a very enviable position. Third bogey of the day, and it's still an under par round for Bak Bo-mi.
괜찮아요.
Now Ji, her final approach of the day. And she's gone left as Bak Bo-mi had done. Ji Hyun landed that almost in the perfect location. Slows it up in time. Keeps her within range of a one-putt finish.
후방향이 제일 좋죠.
분수나 저기 지붕 왼쪽 끝선이
있으면 저 흰시예요?
지금 그냥
Jung's tee shot finds the fairway.
바깥까지 들릴 수 있으면 없지.
And the final hole, 1,133 meters above sea level, Park Ji-young. Also looks like a hybrid to get this started.
좀만 더 흔들어.
스탠드 왼쪽에 라이트 보고 쳐도 아무 상관없어.
Ji, confident tee shot, a club twirl, and this featured group is on the march down to the fairway. Well, this is 9. It is a 197-meter tee shot, just finding the rough. So-yeon Jung. Birdie moves her into a tie for second position. She needs a good approach here. Compounded a bit by the thick grass she finds the ball in. Well, she ends up in the center of the green. I don't know that expecting birdie would be reasonable from that position, nor would it be for Jung Ji, who finds herself in the rough. It is only 9 meters. Tricky technique, but we'll have a 3-meter putt as what she will hope will be her final shot of the day. Back to 17, Ji Hyun to stay at 4 under. Two back, 1 to play. Good position to be in on a Thursday. So right to left putt, the extra velocity on it did her no favors. It will be a bogey from that position that we've seen more times than I think the field would have liked. You can see how the clubhouse looms over the left side of the green. From the tee blocks, you traverse the first water feature, and with such a narrow, perhaps not narrow, but such a small fairway to try and attack, there's no wonder why 5-wood or hybrid is the selection of choice. And then from there, 205 meters makes it a very two-pronged attack. Neither are necessarily simple on a handful of occasions. We have seen players surpass the green altogether and find that rough in behind the flag. I think this is the same club that she teed off with. Ji, only 2 birdies here, by the way, on 18 all day long. A double, a triple, 30 bogeys, 64 pars. Waiting for the green to clear before they play their decisive approaches. '71st shot of the day for Ji. It is 1 under. 2 bogeys in the last 4 holes will sting. What a stretch that was. 2, 3, and 4, all birds. A bogey at 5 as well. Now the green light has been lit. This is what they are staring down, the sign we see so much of this week, the water fountain as well. Ji, the first to play. She picks up some speed as she navigates the rough. She will slide onto the green. Don't know that that is how she anticipated that going, but she won't have any complaints. Well, there's the blueprint, apparently, for Jung. It's 200 meter on the nose. She too finds the green, the opposite side of it though from Ji. And 187, using just about every available meter of fairway before the water. Jung, how will this work out for her? Should be pretty good if it slows down. That is eyes for the back of this green. Ji, the shot of the group on this approach. Maybe she is birdie number 3. And 8 meters for So-Yeon Jung to get to 5 under and finish the round 67, 1 back. She's given herself a chance, but the movement is away from the cup to the inside. Should be par. Oh, up they come. Ji Hyun will be soon finishing 17. It is definitely closing time. Well, not quite the size of the purse that we'll see next week at the Hanwha Classic, but 900 million won up for grabs this week. Event 19 of 34. Hard to believe we're on the backside of the season. 162 million of that earmarked for the winner. It's about 102,000 euros, 122 euros, 102,000 pounds, and $124,000 American. And now So-Yeon Jung to finish with the par. She's got it. Good finish. 2 bogeys on the round, an eagle, and 4 birdies. A little bit of everything. And now it is Kim Ji Hyun's turn with the group in front all on the green. She will roll just through the fairway into the rough. Stops well short of the water, however. Amy Jung will be first. Pang Min-ji, meanwhile, will survey every potential angle prior to her birdie putt. Work cut out for Park Ji-young as well. The excitement in her round came early. Since then, it has been pretty even Steven par golf. Now we're ready to go. Park Ji-young will go first. Well, as unfortunately for her has been the case several times today, it's a great putt, just not quite enough. Back with them in a moment, but first to 16, Moon Jung-min. 76th in the money list this season, 59 million won, garnered through 18 events. Nicely onto the green on the par 3, and now it is Jung's turn. Her 73rd shot of the day. If it moves back right, it's got a chance. What a putt. Excellent, on the verge of exceptional, just short, so will be a 74 for her. I'm sure the things she would do to have another crack at the first 5 holes of her round would be quite a substantial list. She'll know that she needs to start in much better form tomorrow. And now Bungmin Ji. Not an easy putt, but it's an opportunity. It was always going to be a swooping C. So it's a tap-in par. She finishes with a 70 on the day. She goes out with a 34, a 1 bogey at 16, a birdie on 15 as well. Within 4, and that is far from an insurmountable gap for someone of her quality. Jung secures her par as well. That leaves just Park Ji-young to finish in this featured group. Five hours and 5 minutes after this group teed off, they will wrap up their rounds, and Park Ji-young is going to drop beneath the cut line. Oh my word. She had done enough throughout the day since the very beginning. Bogeyed one, and she will bogey the last. Well, that is why, ladies and gentlemen, 18 has been so miserable to so many today. Only 2 birdies. Now, Pae So-yeon not fully up the hill, but close enough to give her an outside look at birdie. She will rightfully take her time here. And we'll drop her to a tie for 64th. Disappointing one. 15 pars on the day, just 1 birdie at the third. Let's go to 9. This is Chung-sul Gi. Blasting it out of the sand. Where will this end up? Well, towards the sprinkler head in the cart path is the answer to that question. So this is how we look. Iggy Pum 6 under should be preserved at this point with so many of the field in the clubhouse. Ji Hyun, Lee Hyo-rin, and Sunju, Ji Hyun amongst those tied in a runner-up position. Any one of those players could definitely make a statement tomorrow, especially those players who had started so early in this opening round will have a chance to do battle later in the afternoon tomorrow. Take a quick break and check out what's going on with the remainder of the field out on course. Our coverage of the opening round of the High1 Resort Ladies Open will resume after a short break. Coverage remains on 18. This is Ji Hyun. It is 189. Any real shot at success here. Needs a bit more of the rough before the front of the green to keep it close. Definitely benefits the fields to be very much to the left on the approach shot. This is 16, Moon Jung-min for birdie. A smidge inside of 10 meters, and she comes up about a meter short. On to 9, Jung-sul-gi. Catches the fringe to slow it up. Must be tough to find the rhythm and balance of this golf course where so many holes you want that exact shot with how the pins are so close to a slope down the hill. Here it's pretty close to flat on 9 and you want to be a little bit further onto the putting surface. And Jung has her par. 3 birdies on the day, a double bogey at 9 has her at 1 under. Now Ji Hyun can take her to 3 under if it straightens out and picks up some speed. It does the former. Does not have the other half of that equation. Back to 18. It starts its move back to the left. Not enough. To see it fall. That's a nice putt on 9 for Ji Hyun to finish under par. It was a busy day. Bogeys and birdies aplenty. Continues some decent form and helping her caddy keep the bugs away. Well, a good effort that will unfortunately not go down for her. Solid day, a few ups, a few downs. Of course, got the better of her at times. Now Hoda Bin quietly at a 4 under score. It's 125 on her approach, a birdie, and she is one back of the lead. Pretty good position to be in. Jihan for a round of 68. Little right to left, almost negligible. Almost being the operative word there. Enough to get it to fall. Only 1 bogey all day long. That was at 13. Has herself very much in the hunt. Back at the round of Amy Jung and how it got away from her so early, and unfortunately through those first 5 holes so often. That was the first bogey. It was so narrowly close on so many occasions. Back to back to start the round. Just seemed for the first 45 minutes. She just was incapable of getting a break to go her way. It was the fourth. From that position, she had to battle over and over and over until she finally would find a birdie at long last, the second hole of her back nine. She'd add another. She slowly chiseled away at that deficit. Closer and closer to even, but she would finish with a 74 in round number one. 2 bogeys on the back, and yes, a spell to start the round to forget. More advanced stats on the day. She was only averaging 216 per drive. Made 16 of her 18 greens in regulation. 12 of 14 fairways, but the thing that got her in trouble, or at least prevented her from being a bit lower today, was the putting. That was 36 putts through 18 holes. A perfect even split of 2 per green. Being that close to reaching 2 under. One hole to go, and still just the 1 stroke beneath par. Being from the fringe, nearly. What a putt that is. Charging up the leaderboard with steady play all day long. Finally, with 6 holes separating birdies, she gets 1 final to wrap up the round. Just 1 back, she joins that fray. And we'll like where she sees her name on this leaderboard. Before we sign off for the round, let's take a look at the full highlights. We will begin at the last. And this is Ji Hyun, just teetering over and going down and into the cup. 3 birdies in that run on the way in from 13. We typically see so much from her. We would have seen more had she started a little bit later in the day. This was her absolute best of the day. So close to holing out for eagle. A little leap as she reflected on how close she was. Positive things to say about that approach from Coach Yu. Into a good position on 7 to roll that one in. And more from the rookie. A dazzling putt.
되게
A little bit of left movement, a little bit of right movement. So this is a relatively straightforward putt, but that was the kind of distance that was frustrating so many. Ji Hyun with a birdie to recover from the bogey she had at the hole previous. We talked about how Ji was approaching well. At times it was the putter that let her down, at least left a little bit more out there. Not to be the case on 7 at that point, her second birdie of the day. For my money, in the top 3 shots all day long, if not the best, from a rough at the back of the green, even beside the camera stand on 10, Chun Ye-sung with a brilliant recovery effort. And would be back-to-back as she would find a bird on 11 as well. This one of the longest putts that would go down. That point for Ji Hyun, her 4th circle on the scorecard of the day. And more from Chun Ye-sung, this time on 15. It was just a 90-meter approach. Making her putter one of her favorite clubs in the bag. Once again, 15. Ends up with the bird. So Jung, after an exceptional approach, just a meter to tap in with. That was on 6 to take her at that point up to 4 under. And Ji on 15. They've been chasing this exact putt for so long. Up to 3 under she would go. Well, there weren't many near aces today. We didn't have any of them, to be specific. That is one of the efforts that was as close as we would get. And a nice birdie to reward her efforts. Prior to that, she hadn't found any slam dunks on the par 3s, but that had been the lone exception. Well, this leaderboard has remained mostly unchanged throughout the course of the nearly 3 hours that we've been on the air. Ho Da Bin with a late push-up. We saw plenty of Ko Chi in those highlights. 67 for her as well. Chun Ye-sung, Ji Hyun, and Ji Hyun would be level with Pae So-yeon, also with 68s on the day. Kim Se-young, too, leading the charge at 2 under, of which there are many, including Han Min-sung, the sensational rookie EA1, Kim Soo-ji, Na-hyun. Pung Min-ji also would finish at 2 under, as we would have seen following her very close today. Kim Min-ju, Matas Som, amongst the sea of players, a tie for 1 under par. Anyone's tournament, though by the end of this Thursday, it is Iggy Pum who was the best through round number 1 of 4. At some point, the red carpet will be rolled out on the 18th green beside the stunning clubhouse at this picturesque venue. But there will be plenty of golf to be played before we get to that point. So we hope you'll be making us a part of your plans once again tomorrow. Our Friday coverage will be beginning at the same time as it did today at 3 p.m. local time here from Gwanri and Gangwon-do. On behalf of our entire SBS Golf and Spa crews, I've been Adam Jenkins saying thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday evenings, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for round 2 of the High1 Resort Ladies Open 2022.